Chuckecheese is a pizza restaurant with cheesy, greasy food and loud arcade games. With loads of fun and flashy attractions, it's a place that children beg their parents to go, especially to celebrate their birthdays. But the main attraction has never been the food or the games. Every day, multiple times a day, there is a show. When the lead singer, the star of the show, Chuckecheese himself, starts to sing and his band starts to play, everyone stops what they're doing and gathers around the stage. The performance is always electric, if you know what I mean. But look closer at the band, at the singer. No, even closer than that. We've all noticed something is wrong. There's something truly creepy lurking behind the performance. Look into Chucky's eyes. The sounds are joyous, yes, but something is not quite right behind those eyes. There's no light that shines behind them. They seem lifeless, as if any trace of joy has left them a long time ago. So what story lies behind this singing rat? What deep, dark secrets is he hiding from the world? Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Explained, the show where we take deep dives into the weird, unexplained, and mostly fun topics of the internet. Before we jump into today's video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can make sure you don't miss any future episodes. And now, let's get straight into this video. Today we'll discuss the unexpectedly dark backstory and origins of Chuckecheese, as informed by the ancient texts. By which I mean a book released by the restaurant itself. Yes, this is a real backstory. Although Chuckecheese has dedicated his life to performing for children and making their lives brighter, his own childhood was dark, and a depressing affair at that. Born Charles Entertainment Cheese and nicknamed Chucky, Chuckecheese's parents died when he was very young. Although we are not given the official information, it is easy to guess what happened. Being a rat, there are many people that want to unalive you in this world. It's kind of funny how Chuckecheese's origins are so similar to Batman's. Anyway, I regress. Maybe his parents found a home and were ready to settle down with their lovely new son, but then got caught in a mousetrap in the garage they squatted in. Maybe they were scurrying around the busy streets of New Jersey, trying to secure food for their newborn when they got trampled under the wheel of a car. Whatever the case, Chucky was left all alone in this world. Luckily, a kind Samaritan found a place for Chucky at the St. Margarita orphanage. This is of course not unheard of in American cities, as seen in the story of Stuart Little, which, by the way, is its own sort of messed up. What do you mean these parents go to an orphanage filled with suffering human children and then they pick a rat? Can you imagine the emotional damage that would inflict on an already damaged child? They'll be thinking their whole lives, I had that one opportunity at a loving family, but they chose a rat over me. Anyway, although Chucky was no longer alone, the orphanage was a depressing place. The only joy to be felt was when one of the orphans celebrated their birthdays. And then there would be cake and presents, sure, but most importantly, singing and pizza. The singing of happy birthday brought everyone together, and for a brief moment, it gave them all a reason to smile. But Chucky was deprived of ever experiencing this pleasure firsthand, because he never knew when his own birthday was. The only other distraction from his miserable existence was the game Pong. If you don't know, Pong is as retro as it gets. Made by Atari, Pong was the first commercially successful video game in the world. This two-dimensional sports game simulates playing table tennis. All you control is your own paddle, scrolling up and down the screen. We can totally imagine Chucky being completely hypnotized, doom-scrolling in Pong just to forget his miserable life. With the amount of time he spent in the Pongverse and his desperation to be anywhere else, he had a competitive edge against the other children, who he always demolished in the game. His talent was recognized and he was able to enter a Pong tournament in which he crushed his opposition and won $50. Chuckecheese was kinda born in the wrong generation. He would have been an amazing streamer. For Chucky, this was the opportunity he'd been waiting for. With this, he could pursue his dreams and go to the city of milk and honey, or rather, of music and pizza. New York, a dream city for rats. He fled in the night without warning, without saying goodbye to the other orphans, and spent all of his money to get to New York. If I could make it there, Chucky thought, I could make it anywhere. I mean, that's literally what the song says. Although he was surrounded by people, he had no friends, and he had ran out of money. For the first time, he missed his friends at the orphanage and the life he had always cursed. He didn't know what he had until it was gone. He had nowhere to go, but lured by the scent of his favorite food, he scavenged for old crusts and sauce in the trash of a local pizzeria. He found a way into the restaurant through a vent and slept above the kitchen. The smell of the pizza and the sound of the radio put him to rest. The restaurant was owned by one Pascali P. Pieplate. Pascali also fell on hard times and resorted to sleeping in the restaurant. One night, Chucky thought the music blaring from the radio was loud enough that he could sneak out and grab some pizza. But Pascali quickly caught sight of the large rat. If Pascali had seen Ratatouille, he would know exactly what to do in this situation. Befriend the rat and put him underneath your chef's hat so that he can control you like a puppet by tugging your hair, guiding you through making Michelin star level food. But no, Pascali chased Chucky around with a heavy rolling pin, hoping to bludgeon the weird rat, running on its hind legs like a human. Facing the end of his life, Chucky did the one thing he did best: sing. He sung in the hopes that Pascali would see the humanity in him. With the rat's fate in his hands, Pascali responded, "A rat that can sing, my restaurant is saved. I'm gonna make you a star." He rebranded the whole restaurant to Chuckecheese, home of the rat that can sing. Of course, Pascali was ready to exploit Chucky for every cent he was worth. That's capitalism for you folks. A singing rat, people obviously thought it was a hoax, but they had to come see it for themselves. When the curtains lifted on the first night, the crowd gasped. They were faced with an anthropomorphic rat, fully clothed, staring back at them from behind a microphone. But Chucky was silent. In fact, he was terrified. He had never sung to a crowd of adults before, a crowd that stared at him now, waiting to hear him sing. Nothing. They booed and booed, pelting their leftovers at him. Chucky looked to the wings, where he saw Pascali holding the rolling pin in his hands. "Sing or you're out!" he shouted at Chucky. The crowd caused a commotion and started to leave, but as they left, Chucky spotted a child holding his parents' hands. He felt a pang of jealousy as he never got to hold his own parents' hand. He wanted to look away, but then something caught his attention. The child was wearing a cardboard crown. It was his birthday. Every child deserved a special birthday, Chucky believed. So he started singing Happy Birthday. People lost their minds and couldn't understand what was happening in front of them. But the children begged their parents to stay. The rat's songs resonated with something deep inside of them, an innocence that their parents no longer understood. Chucky was a massive hit. As the operation grew, more of society's outlaws and outcasts joined the band. Trying to save money on hiring a drummer, Pascali stepped behind the drums himself. Other notable band members include Jasper T. Giles, a bloodhound that came all the way from the woods of Tennessee with only a banjo and an empty stomach. Jasper has been described as an idiot and a lunatic who would at times howl uncontrollably, getting carried away with the music. Helen Henny is a chicken whose dreams of being a star of film and stage has been destroyed by her uncontrollable clucking. But then, there are monsters that exist beyond our comprehension. Mr. Munch, for example. This yellow and purple alien monster's origins was originally unknown. I like to imagine that he is the project of some experiment gone wrong, or some sort of mutation of a child that had too many of Pascali's unhygienic pizzas. The company has changed their story a couple of times and has claimed he's from a planet called, get this, Purple Planet. Yeah, right. There is one thing we know for sure, and that is that Mr. Munch has an insatiable appetite. We can only hope that the pizza are enough to satisfy him. Eventually, as the story goes, Chucky convinced Pascali to bring in video games. Pascali of course agreed to anything that could make him a quick buck, and when Chucky got tired of standing on stage all day, singing to little kids who lived the life he always wanted, he turned back to video games. He switched on the game as he switched off his mind, always trying to forget the dark past that haunts him. And there you guys have it. That is the dark history of Chuckecheese and its animatronics explained. What did you guys think? What topic should we cover in our next deep dive? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss our next episode. And as always, I'm Devils and this has been Explained. Stay safe and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.